This is the Porsche Boxster, and it's a little bit like an Android phone in the way that it's always lived in the shadow of the 911, with the 911 being an Apple phone, but arguably equally as good, yet better value for money, though of course being a Porsche is still quite expensive. The car starts from £46,000. Now if you want to make sure you're paying a fair price for your new car, click on the pop-out banner just up there in the top right hand corner of the screen, or follow the link below the video to go to carwow. Now I really like the look of the Boxster. It's got its own unique style going on, it looks suitably sporty, and it's clearly identifiable as a Porsche, but it's not trying to be a 911, and it's got some cool features like real exhaust pipes, which is a good thing. And these vents at the sides, they're not just for show like they would be on many other cars, they feed air into the mid-mounted engine. Now as you go down the range you get smaller wheels. This is the range topping version, so it's got 20 inches, and it has its own unique bumper design as well, being the GTS, and it has smoked lenses for the lights as well, which do make it stand out. But regardless of which Boxster you go for, they do all look very lovely indeed, and it's the same story inside. I do like the inside of this car. It's got a really nice sporty design to the dash. I like the way that the centre console sweeps from the dash and then separates you from your passenger, as if you don't like them. Actually no, it gives it more of a race car like feel. Speaking of race car, I love the dials in this car. You've got this big central rev counter, you've got the speedo to the left, and you've got a little digital display there with various driving information, and it'll even show the sat nav if you need it to. I love the paddle shifters if you have the automatic gearbox. They're solid aluminium, just feel so expensive to touch, as do the door handles. In fact, everything in this car feels expensive. You can look around and you will not find a cheap bit of plastic anywhere. It's all just very well made, super solid, and all the controls are just nicely damped. It's lovely. Now I should point out this particular car does have an interior upgrade package. It includes a leather on the dash with this red stitching. You've got carbon fibre, there's some stitching up here and leather on the door tops as well, which do make it feel a little bit more expensive. Now this pack does cost £2,000. In fact, this is a good time to speak about this car's equipment list. The Boxster gets a 7-inch touchscreen with satellite navigation, Bluetooth and Apple CarPlay. You also get sport seats with an electrically operated backrest. There's also dual zone climate control, so passenger and driver don't have to argue about what temperature to have, though they might still argue about whether to have the roof up or down. The Boxster S gets a bigger engine, which is somewhere in there, stronger brakes, aluminium pedals. The GTS gets upgraded Alcantara line seats, Alcantara on the steering wheel and on the gear selector. There's a limited slip differential fitted as standard too, with torque vectoring so it can send power to the wheel with the most grip. It also gets adaptive suspension with a 10mm lower ride height. And then there's a Sport Chrono pack, which includes a driving mode selector, handily on the steering wheel, dynamic engine mounts, which improves the car's balance. There's also a slight increase in the throttle response, and if you have the PDK automatic gearbox, you get launch control included. It also adds a little clock on the dash. Finally, there's the Boxster T, which is based on the normal Boxster, but it has some of the driving goodies of this GTS, such as Sport Chrono pack and limited slip differential. And it's supposed to be stripped out, so you don't have proper door handles, but instead kind of like little fabric tugs like in racing cars. Now let's continue the rest of the review by talking about this infotainment system, because it is rather old. Still, it isn't all bad. The screen is bright and easy to read, and it has a clear menu structure. Even if some of the on-screen buttons are quite small, that means that using this thing while you're driving does require a bit of patience and practice being able to hit them as you're moving along. Definitely the systems in the BMW Z4 and Audi TT are easy to operate while you're driving. Also, sticking in the postcode isn't the easiest, though adding a waypoint isn't too hard, and it does calculate routes in a reasonable amount of time. The traffic avoidance system isn't the best, but it kind of works, though overall you're better off using Google Maps or Waze or something like that from your phone. Another slight complaint is the standard 8-speaker sound system. Really, if you like your tunes, you're better off paying the extra £900 for the optional Bose sound system, because it's way, way better. In fact, if you want a sports car with a fantastic infotainment system, then click on the pop-out banner just up there in the top right corner of the screen to watch my detailed review of the BMW Z4. What I can't fault this Boxster for is the driving position. It's brilliant. So the view that you get out of the dash, even though you're sitting low, is still very good. There's plenty of adjustment in the driver's seat, and I like the way you can just slide it forward dead easy like that. And look, I can't even reach the pedals now, so that's all fine. And yeah, the steering wheel has lots of adjustment as well, and it's positioned dead central. Does just give the car a real nice sporty feel. The layout of everything is reasonably clear and easy to use. The only slight fiddle is the climate control buttons. They can be a little bit difficult to operate when you're driving fast, but that's my only real complaint. Actually, I do have another: storage. Now, it's not going to be great in a car like this, is it? But it's still not quite as good as in something like an Audi TT Roadster. For instance, the door bins, there's like 2 of them, but there's only certain things you can fit in them because they're quite a small size. So in this side pocket here, there's enough room for the all-important sunscreen. You better take that with you, actually, if you're having the roof down. And then the bin in front of it has room for some snacks. Under the armrest, there isn't much space. You should be able to put your mobile phone there, but larger phones like this Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus won't quite fit in the holder. I think that design is a little bit old-fashioned. Still, you do have a USB port there for charging your phone. There's a little area here for God knows what. World's smallest cup holder. No, that won't work. So where am I going to put my drink? Don't worry, Porsche has a brilliant solution. You just press this, fold that out, push that back, and then you put your cup of coffee in there. There's a glove box here, which is a decent size, with enough room for a whole bunch of bananas. Who would carry bananas in their Porsche Boxster? I wonder. Anyway, that's about it really for storage. So let's move on to the boot and see if things get a little bit better. You open the boot by pulling that lever. That'll release the luggage compartment. And you'll see that it doesn't have that much space in it. There's room for a small suitcase. There's no features in there at all. Actually, you can fit a small suitcase and a soft bag or 2 in there. But you might be thinking, I want to take more for my weekend away. Well, don't worry, because there's actually a front boot as well. So there's another switch for that to open it. And you have a bit more room under here, so you can actually fit a larger suitcase in there. Alternatively, you can fit a small suitcase with a couple of soft bags. You can even fit a couple of boxes in there as well. However, there is no room anywhere for a set of golf clubs. You wouldn't be able to fit a child's stroller in there. Speaking of children, the Boxster's front passenger seat does have ISOFIX mounting points, and you can easily fit a baby seat in there if you need to. It helps that the doors are nice and wide, and of course you have the option of folding the roof down to make the whole process nice and easy. However, this car isn't all perfect. Here's 5 annoying things about it. Well, the car's infotainment system has Apple CarPlay built in. It doesn't have Android Auto. Damn them! There's no little holder for the seatbelt buckle, so when you're driving through town over bumps and especially over speed humps, it rattles about against the trim like that, and it just does your head in. The new Boxster has a flat 4 turbocharged petrol engine, just like a Subaru Impreza WRX. Now, it just doesn't sound anywhere near as good as the old naturally aspirated flat 6 engines that you used to get in the Boxster, so I'll illustrate now. So this is the new car's engine. Yeah, doesn't sound great, does it? Now, this is what a flat 6 naturally aspirated engine sounds like. I mean, really, it's absolutely no contest, is it? Now, Porsche Boxster comes with parking sensors as standard. If you want them fitted to the rear, that's £360. If you want them all round, which of course you do, that's £620. Go onto the carwow configurator and configure some performance cars and see with the carwow discount if you can get them for the same as or less than this car, and let me know about them in the comments box below. So if you click on the pop-out banner just up there, that's a shortcut to go to our configurator. That's the challenge. Let's see what you come back with. Right, I don't want to actually show you this bad thing because I know what I'm about to do is going to hurt me, because when you remove the wind deflector, it pops up on a spring and whacks against your nail, and it really smarts. So thankfully, this car has plenty of cool features to help make up for all this. Here's 5. You can get a special Porsche Track app for your smartphone. It allows you to download driving data and analyse what you're doing right, or maybe, in my case, wrong. This is a really cool feature. Look, a little coat hook on the back of the seat. Really handy, superb. Each rear tyre is about ½ an inch wider than on the old Boxster, so you have improved lateral grip. Porsche is the only manufacturer to use variable vane turbo technology on petrol engines, and the Boxster has that for improved fuel economy, yet enhanced performance. If you're cruising along in comfort mode and suddenly want to overtake someone, you can hit the sports response button and it puts everything into its sportiest setting for 20 seconds so you can just blast off. However, it only comes with Sports Chrono package. Engine choices for the Boxster are dead simple. So there's a 2-litre flat 4 turbo with 300 horsepower in the normal Boxster and the Boxster T. Then there's a 350 horsepower 2.5 litre flat 4 turbo in the Boxster S, and the same engine but with 365 horsepower in this Boxster GTS. All cars are rear wheel drive. You get them with a manual as standard, and you can have a dual clutch PDK 7-speed automatic gearbox as an option on any model. Right then, let's see how quick this Boxster GTS is. So I'm going to put it into Sports Plus mode, so I've got launch control. Now I just have to have it in drive, mash the brake, mash the throttle, then release the brake. Dead simple, go. Oh, it feels quick. That's 60. Oh my gosh. So, 0 to 60 in just 3.7 seconds. This engine may not sound great, but my God, it accelerates hard. You can't argue with that number. The Porsche Boxster is okay to drive in town. The suspension is quite firm, so you do feel the bumps. It's better if you have the adaptive suspension because it has a comfort mode, and that does help. The brakes are good though, not grabby at all, but very, very strong. The turning circle is all right. Bit better than a Volkswagen Golf. If you need to do U-turns, you're going to be fine with that as well. How about parking though? Here's a space. Let's see how easy it is to get into it. I've got the roof up because, yeah, convertibles can be a bit awkward to park with the roof up, so I need to test that. I wish that mirror went down, so I'll just do it myself so I can see where my wheels are. Now the steering on this car is quite heavy, so if you're doing lots of manoeuvring, it does get a bit tiring. I can't fault the automatic gearbox though, because it really does help when you're parking, because it's just quite easy to use. The manual itself is really lovely to use as well though, and the clutch is nice. I tell you what, I would be absolutely buggered without those parking sensors, because I have no idea where the corners of the car are. Thankfully I've got them. So that was all right. Not the easiest, but fine. One thing I like about this car is that you can put the roof down at speeds of up to 30 miles an hour. So let's take it for a spin. The Boxster is a pretty decent car to drive on the motorway. Always feels planted at speed, it's really good. The suspension, as you go faster, gets better and smooths out bumps. You know, you feel very confident in this car. With the roof up, you do get quite a bit of tyre noise, and it is a little bit annoying, and a bit of wind whistle from there, but with the roof down, you don't notice it so much because you just hear the wind buffeting, but it's never too bad. Even when you're driving at 70 miles an hour, you can have a conversation dead easy. I don't think it's quite as quiet or relaxing to travel long distances in though as the new BMW Z4, and you can see my full in-depth video review of that car by clicking on the pop-out banner just up there in the top right hand corner of the screen. Now, one thing I can't complain about with this thing is the response of the engine and the gearbox. They work in perfect harmony. So I'm doing 50, I'm flooring it, it's found its gear, and we're off, and we're at 70, like that. Shame, it doesn't sound very good. I can hardly hear anything. Even with exhaust super noisy. No, not a great noise. How about the economy though? They've downsized the engine for improved economy, and I'm getting 28 miles per gallon, which is actually all right, isn't it? I'd rather have less miles per gallon and a better sound than this though. Head out onto a twisty road, and any problem that you may have with a Boxster is immediately forgiven, because this is where it excels and it makes so much sense. I absolutely love it. It corners super flat, really grips, and the car lets you know what's going on beneath you through the seat and through the steering, and here the heavy steering just feels so right. I absolutely love it. Also, I love the stability control system because it doesn't intervene too much, it just lets you get on with it and have some fun. And that mid-mounted engine setup really helps just make the car feel lively and dart into a corner. It really does change directions dead quick, this car. I'll tell you what, give me a day like today, a road like this, and this very car, and you've pretty much got my idea of heaven. If it had a flat six engine. So then, what's my final verdict on the Porsche Boxster? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should just go right ahead and buy the Porsche Boxster. It may not have the best sounding engine, but it's absolutely fabulous to drive, great to look at, and lovely to sit in. Do you agree with my verdict? Let me know in the comments section. Also, please subscribe to this channel for more videos, and if you click on the deals box to the right, you can see how much you can save on a new car at CarWow. Or click on the video windows below to watch another of my videos.